Search how to make your home cozy, and you get the same list every time. Blankets, candles, fairy lights, maybe a dog. This video skips all of it, because cozy isn't a shopping list. It's a nervous system response, and it runs on signals your brain has been reading since long before houses existed. The warmth of light at the end of a day, the feel of natural material, shelter at your back. A home that feels instantly cozy is sending 10 of these signals at once. Homes that never quite get there, including expensively decorated ones, are quietly jamming them. This video breaks them into 10 named rules, each backed by a specific piece of psychology you can look up, and each one checkable in your own home tonight, whatever your budget, whatever your style. 2 of them cost nothing at all. This is also a playbook. Score your own room against all 10 rules and start with the one that costs least. Link below. Now, Rule 1. Rule 1, the sunset signal. Let's start with a test. 2 pictures of the same living room. Same sofa, same rug, same lamp in the same corner. One difference, a single light bulb. Which room looks cozier? It's the first room. And you knew instantly, even though everything you can point at is identical. What you were reading is color temperature. The first bulb is 2700 Kelvin, warm white. The second is 5000, so-called daylight. For a couple of million years, the only warm, low light our species ever saw came at the end of the day. Sunset, then firelight. Warm light is an evolutionary signal. The day is over, the group is gathering, you can stand down. Cool blue-white light is a noon signal. Stay alert, keep working. The sleep scientist Matthew Walker makes the same point in Why We Sleep. Evening light in the blue range holds the brain in day mode, and the wind-down chemistry simply waits. A cozy room lit at 5000 Kelvin is a contradiction your body refuses to believe. The fix is the cheapest in this entire video. Check every bulb in your living spaces and replace anything over 3000 K. 2700 for living rooms, bedrooms, and dining. 3000 at most, where you genuinely need task light. Look for warm white on the box. Never daylight, never cool white. Then put your main lamps on plug-in dimmers, because evening light should keep getting lower as the night goes on. The whole room costs about as much as a takeout dinner. Rule 2, the cumulative glow. Here's the claim. You can install perfect warm bulbs and still have a cold room, because a bulb is only where light starts. The architect Christopher Alexander wrote it plainly in A Pattern Language, in a chapter literally titled Warm Colors. The warmth of a room comes not from the light source, but from the color of the light after it has bounced. Light picks up a little of the color of every surface it reflects from, and the effect is cumulative. Photons leave the bulb, hit a wall, take on its color, hit the floor, take on its color, and arrive at your eye carrying the sum. A warm bulb bouncing off cool gray walls and a blue-gray sofa delivers gray light. So audit the bounce. Biggest surfaces first. Walls. If you're repainting, choose whites and neutrals with a warm undertone. Cream, warm ivory, over blue-leaning grays. Floors. Wood or a rug in warm tones, instead of large, cold plains. Lampshades are a disproportionate lever. A fabric shade in linen or amber warms every ray that passes through it, and swapping one takes 15 minutes. Then the smaller reflectors, wooden furniture, brass, terracotta, warm-toned art. You don't have to make everything beige. You need the surfaces the light hits most to lean warm, because every bounce is a vote for what the room feels like. Rule 3, the nature echo. Run your hand over a laminate tabletop, then over solid wood. Same temperature, nearly the same texture, and your brain files them completely differently. The biologist E.O. Wilson called the reason biophilia, an innate, inherited pull toward living things and the materials of the living world. We spent so long reading environments for survival that the reading never switched off. Wood, stone, and natural fiber register as habitable at a level plastic can't reach, no matter how good the printed grain gets, which is why a room can be warm, well-lit, and still feel like a showroom. Everything in it is synthetic. The fix is substitution, one object at a time, and it takes attention more than money. Swap the plastic tray for a wooden one, the polyester throw for wool or cotton. the synthetic rug for jute or sisal, the glass and chrome side table for oak, secondhand where solid wood routinely costs less than new laminate. Favor materials that show their origin: visible grain, stone with veining, woven baskets, linen with its slubs. And yes, plants count. They're the most literal biophilia there is. But materials do the quieter, steadier work, because they're the surfaces you actually touch. Aim for at least one natural material within reach of every seat in the house. Rule 4. Visual silence, named for the failure it prevents. 2 rooms, identical floor plan. In the first, every surface is smooth. Flat painted walls, 1 flat rug, a leather sofa, a glass table. In the second, the same layout carries paneling on 1 wall, 2 layered rugs, wool and linen on the sofa, a rough ceramic bowl. The first room is what designers call visual silence, and it's not the good kind of silence. The eye works like the ear. A space with no texture is the visual version of a soundproof chamber, and total silence isn't restful, it's unsettling. Your eye is built to read surfaces at every distance. It wants shadow in a weave, relief on a wall, depth in a pile. The architect Juhani Pallasmaa built a whole book on this, The Eyes of the Skin. Rooms are experienced through touch as much as sight, even when the touching happens with the eyes. When minimalist design stripped homes of texture, it didn't produce calm. It produced a flatness that tires the eye faster, because there's nothing for it to rest on. Nature never makes this mistake. Bark, grass, stone, water, texture all the way down. The fix works in 4 layers: walls, paneling, picture molding, a tapestry or textured art. 1 wall is enough. Floor, layer a smaller textured rug over a larger flat one. Soft surfaces, mix 3 fabrics, say wool, linen, velvet, instead of repeating 1. Objects, swap 2 smooth decor pieces for rough ones: unglazed ceramic, carved wood, a woven basket. You're not adding stuff, you're giving every distance something to hold on to. If this is starting to feel like a lot to hold in your head, that is exactly what the playbook is for. It turns these 10 rules into a room you can actually finish. Every rule ends in a page you fill in. 10 printable worksheets, and the same audit as a spreadsheet that totals every room and every rule as you type. You walk your room once, score it against all 10, and the lowest column is the rule to work next. The lowest row is the room to start in. The bulb temperature card settles the number before you are standing in the aisle. 59 pages, built to be printed and written on. The link is in the description. Now, Rule 5. Rule 5. Pools of light, second test. The same room twice, and this time both versions are warm, both 2700 Kelvin. In the first, all the light comes from 1 ceiling fixture. In the second, 3 small lamps. Which one is cozier? The lamps, and it isn't close. Here's the mechanism. Uniform overhead light doesn't exist in nature. Outdoors, light is dappled through leaves, off water, around clouds, bright pools with soft shadow between them. The only places lit evenly, corner to corner, are the ones engineered that way: offices, hospitals, supermarkets. Environments designed for alertness and task speed, not rest. Flip on the big light and you file your living room in that category, which is why the internet's favorite lighting rule, never use the big light, is not a meme. It's environmental psychology, and it's old wisdom too. The novelist Junichiro Tanizaki wrote In Praise of Shadows back in 1933 to defend exactly this: rooms that come alive where lamplight pools and shadow is allowed to stay. The fix is a constellation, 3 pools of light minimum per room, at different heights, with honest shadow between them. A table lamp at seated eye level, a floor lamp by the reading chair, something small and low, a lamp on a bookshelf, a candle on the table. Plan it like a floor plan. Every place you actually sit gets its own pool. The corners are allowed to fall dark, and the ceiling fixture gets demoted to the switch you hit while finding your keys. Cozy lives in the contrast between the pool you're in and the dusk beyond it. Rule 6. The Hearth Instinct. For roughly 1 million years, a small controlled flame meant everything was okay. Fire meant warmth, cooked food, protection, and the whole group gathered in one place. The hearth was the original living room. And that association isn't nostalgia, it's wiring. The anthropologist Richard Wrangham argues in Catching Fire that the cooking fire is what made us human in the first place. It rewired our bodies and gathered us into circles. Researchers have measured blood pressure dropping in people who simply watch a fire. A flame at rest is one of the oldest safety signals your nervous system knows. And here's the useful part. You don't need a fireplace. And if you have one, it doesn't need to be lit. An unlit hearth still organizes a room the way an empty stage still organizes a theater. The signal is the flicker, not the heat, which means it can be as small as a candle. So build a flame focal point deliberately. Cluster candles instead of scattering them. 3 or 5 together in one spot reads as a hearth. 1 candle alone on a shelf reads as an air freshener. Vary the heights within the cluster. Put the cluster where the room naturally faces. The coffee table, the mantle, the center of the dining table. Pair it with the dimmers from Rule 1, because a flame only registers when the light around it is low, and let it be the last light burning at the end of the night. Rule 7, the shelter rule. Picture a sofa floating alone in the middle of a big room. Nothing around it, nothing above it. Nobody curls up on that sofa. Now picture the same sofa with a rug underneath, a floor lamp leaning over one arm, a side table at the other, and a wall at its back. That's the seat everyone fights for. The geographer J. Appleton named the reason prospect refuge theory. Humans are most at ease where we can see out, prospect, while feeling covered and enclosed, refuge. A view from a protected edge. It's why the corner booth goes first in every restaurant, why the window seat beats the middle of the room, why children build forts. An unanchored sofa is all prospect and no refuge. You're exposed on every side, and your body keeps up a low hum of vigilance it never reports to you. So stop arranging furniture and start building pockets. Anchor every main seat 4 ways. A rug underneath to define the ground, a table beside it to hold your things, a light source at the shoulder to lower the ceiling over just that spot, and something solid at its back, a wall, a console, a bookcase. Then aim the seat so it faces the room's entrance. A view of the door is prospect at its most literal. One properly anchored corner will out-cozy an entire open-plan room. Rule 8, the curve bias. Nature almost never draws a straight line. Hills, rivers, branches, clouds, the world we evolved in is made of curves. Straight edges and sharp corners are mostly ours. Blades, grids, machines. In a pair of studies, the neuroscientists Moshe Bar and Maital Netta showed people everyday objects that were identical except for their contours, and found a consistent preference for the curved versions, with the sharp-cornered ones producing more activity in the amygdala, the brain's threat detector. At some ancient level, a sharp corner reads as an edge that could cut. A room full of hard rectangles, boxy sofa, rectangular table, square shelving, sharp-cornered frames, keeps that detector faintly ticking. You'd never call it fear. You'd just say the room feels a little stiff. The fix is not replacing your furniture. It's outnumbering the corners. Start with the mirror. Swapping one rectangular mirror for a round one changes the vote count of an entire wall. Then take the easy wins. A round or oval coffee table instead of a sharp-cornered one. Curved lamp bases and shades. Round vases and bowls. A gently arched floor lamp. And whenever you're choosing between 2 versions of the same piece, take the rounded one. Corner by corner, the room stops bracing and starts inviting. Rule 9, the window place. Watch where people settle in any room they love. Near the window, almost every time. The architect Christopher Alexander documented it in a pattern language. In a pattern he called simply window place. People are drawn toward a room's windows, toward the daylight, and toward the view of what's happening outside. And if there is no comfortable place to sit there, the room keeps a quiet tension in it. You're pulled toward the light and pulled back toward the seats, and you can't obey both at once. A room with a real window place resolves that pull and instantly owns a favorite spot. The fix is one honest seat at the brightest window. Pull an armchair within 2 feet, 60 centimeters of the glass. Angle it to catch both the view and the room, and give it a side table big enough for a cup and a book. If the sill is deep, cushion it. If there's a radiator underneath, A bench in front of it turns wasted space into the best seat in the house. Then test it the way Alexander would. Sit there on a slow morning. If it's where the light lands and the room still feels within reach, you built it right, and you'll find someone in that seat every day after. Rule 10. Compression and release. Frank Lloyd Wright had a habit that puzzled visitors. He made his entryways low and tight, ceilings you could almost touch, and then opened the house up behind them. He called the principle compression and release. Move through a compressed space into a taller one, and the release reads as generosity. Stay under a lowered ceiling in a small zone, and it reads as shelter. Height is a signal, and Cozy lives at the low end of it. A uniform ceiling over everything says nothing. A room that drops its visual ceiling over the places you settle says, "This spot is yours." And you don't need to build anything to say it. Hang the pendant low over the dining table, 30 inches, 76 centimeters above the surface, low enough to feel like a canopy. Let a tall bookcase lean over the reading chair. Use a floor lamp with a wide shade that closes the space above your head, or frame the bed with a soft canopy of curtains. Every one of those moves lowers the perceived ceiling over one zone and leaves the rest of the room tall. Compression where you rest, release where you move. It's the cheapest architecture you will ever do. You're not changing the room, you're changing the ceiling the body believes in. For the wrap-up, knowing these 10 rules and having a room that feels cozy are not the same thing, and the gap between them is the work. The playbook is that work, already done. All 10 mechanisms written out, 11 printable diagrams, and 10 worksheets, a fixture audit, a reach test, a corner count, with the same sheets as a spreadsheet companion if you would rather type than print. Before and after pairs show the same room with one rule changed, so you can see what each rule is worth on its own. The move lists are ordered by cost, so you always know the cheapest next thing to do. And the formula card puts all 10 rules on a single page. Print it, walk the room, fix the first line that fails. The link is in the description. 10 rules. The sunset signal, the cumulative glow, the nature echo, visual silence, pools of light, the hearth instinct, the shelter rule, the curve bias, the window place, compression and release. Notice what's not on the list. Nothing about blankets, nothing about buying more candle holders, nothing that needs a renovation budget. Cozy turned out to be a set of signals. Light that says evening, materials that say nature, boundaries that say safe, and every one of them is checkable in the home you already have. If you want the fastest result, start where the psychology is strongest per dollar. Rule 1 and Rule 5. Warm bulbs and 3 pools of light instead of one big one. That's one evening, and it changes the signal your home sends every night afterward. Then work down the list, 1 rule per weekend. So, which of the 10 is your home failing hardest right now? Tell me in the comments. I read all of them, and the answers genuinely shape what I make next. And if this evidence-first way of looking at your home is useful to you, subscribing means the next one finds you. One last thing. You will remember that warm bulbs matter. You will not remember which of the 10 your own room is failing, or what to fix first when you are standing in it. That is the whole difference between having watched this and having a room that changed, and it is not about effort or taste. It is about having the 10 rules somewhere other than your memory. The playbook is the version you keep, the 10 rules on paper, the audit that scores your own rooms, and the move list that says what comes first. It is in the description and at quietminimal.com/guides. And if you are not ready for that, come to quietminimal.com and leave your email. 1 letter a week, the same kind of thinking, straight to your inbox.